All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Um, Thank you for joining me today as I provide a construction outlook for the specialty contractors. My name is Sumit Oberoi, Construction Industry Strategist with Autodesk Construction Solutions. In my role, I support our business in setting our strategic approach in partnership with specialist contractors such as yourself. Previously, I ran the Mechanical Contractors Association of Australia, and so I really have an appreciation of the challenges that specialist subcontractors have. A special mention to Marissa Rothman, Grace Choi, and Christina Hu for your support in preparing for today. So let's get the obvious out the way. COVID-19 has had a profound impact on our lives and the economy. We've really been challenged with our work-life balance, supporting our families, our employees, our friends, and the uncertainty of what COVID-19 brings. And it's interesting, I've spent a fair bit of time, um, you know, talking to business leaders and trying to get an understanding of how they were managing their time. Some of the businesses from managing director level um, who have really been there to support their businesses have made sure that they've, you know, gotten out of their ivory tower and actually gone to the construction site to see their people and make sure that they're going well, because it has been a challenging time physically, mentally, and also to the economy. 2020 was a complicated year for construction. You know, we've been challenged with continuity of work and future pipeline, payment terms being pushed out, and new challenges on site that we haven't experienced before, such as social distancing. And 2021 may be even trickier. I'd hate to be standing up with a crystal ball in my hand to give a bit of a thought into where we're going, but I want to remain positive as we go forward. So history has shown us that, you know, after recession, particularly in 2008, the construction industry took a dive. And the construction industry is typically a laggard um, industry. If you look at the financial crisis data that's presented here, the impact is really felt 12 to 18 months later. You know, you look at the valuation decrease during that time, and also the challenges in terms of, you know, when you're pricing particular work in 2008, projects that are going to be delivered in 2009 and 10, what implications did that have to your business? But what if I told you the crisis also created opportunities? You know, crises are an opportunity to change. We've got limited choice. We must trade through it, and we have to come up with new ways to challenge the pre-existing status quo. So new ways in which we're going to work with our employees, new ways in which we're going to deal with our suppliers, and new ways in which we're going to deal with our GCs. We're going to look at creating ways of leveraging new ideas to deliver projects. You know, what sort of level of innovation do we want to invest in our business? And supporting that is really the data story. Uh, you know, from 2008, the financial crisis, we started to see that the construction industry really led the recovery of the economy in the US. Top construction companies grew faster than ever after the 2018 financial crisis. And you look at, you know, 2014 by comparison to 2008, and, you know, it's a significant growth as we look at the revenue going forward. And so what are we seeing in terms of an increase in the new starts across some sectors? You know, if we look into 2020, it was a real grim situation. You know, you look at all asset classes here, there's a negative in front of them. You know, you look at the total all markets, you know, you're looking at a negative 8.3%. You know, most of the sectors, most of the asset classes within the sector were hit pretty hard. But if you look at 2021, we're starting to see some positive numbers there. And, you know, we find that the non-residential building sector is leading the charge. So is, you know, when we look at infrastructure. But these are great numbers in terms of presenting a great opportunity for our industry as we move forward, and a great opportunity to hopefully make, you know, sound profits. So what's happening right now? Well, it's pleasing to see that, as I mentioned, the market is picking up to meet the demand. You know, the challenges with urbanisation, the challenges also with supporting the infrastructure demands in the US are particularly important to understand. Bidding activity has increased on the Building Connected platform. In January, we saw 8 million bids over the usual 5 million. So that's great news story for our industry. Projects are coming back online that were shelved, and we're starting to see how those projects are really, you know, getting the support back to, and also the commitment from investors to get them moving forward, which is great news. With this creates a great opportunity, but also risk. So what does that mean for subcontractors? This is a prime opportunity to show your company is competitive. I think there's three things that subcontractors always have to keep front and center to their thinking. You know, whether we have the belief internally, you know, whether we've got the capabilities, and also do we have the readiness to challenge, and the right to be selected on those particular jobs. What are the things that we're going to focus on in terms of reducing our risks, our costs, but increasing our differentiation? So what I want to talk about now is how to prevent subcontractor overextension. And I think that's a really important thing for us to consider, particularly when we start to trade through COVID-19 and start to rebound through this time. So what are the things that we need to start to do? Well, I think we need to really start to focus on finding the right projects. You know, the right projects that offer clear profitability. So what are some of the things that we can do as a business? Well, I think we need to establish a general contractor policy that really helps guide our company internally on what we accept is the right number for us to deliver that job. I think we need to really be clear from management all the way through in terms of what is the level that we want to deal with. We also want to find projects that match our scope of work. So, you know, is the scope too broad? Are we taking on activities that we don't have capabilities with? You know, what are some of the challenges in terms of how we're going to deliver those going forward? Do we have a clear sense of costs and risk before we start? Integrate your office and site teams to challenge the ways of delivering. Do we get clear and transparent documents? You know, one of the key things that we always talk about within Autodesk is how do we help our businesses really get constructible drawings and things that we can actually build off, and they're transparent. And also, how do we get a clear sense of labour management before we start? How do we get access and egress to site? You know, how do we get people, you know, on the site and off the site as quickly as they can, because money is won and lost in the field. So these are things that we need to focus on, finding the right projects. So when you have a project focus on getting in and out, we need to set ourselves up for success on the moment we break ground. We want to get all the paperwork you need to get get in and get out as fast as possible, and really insist on the best documentation possible. So, what are some of the things that we need to be across? What are some of the company policies in terms of how we're going to deal with the latest information, and how do we leverage that data into the field? So one of the things that I wanted to now change focus is how do we, lower project risk with technology? Before projects start, we want to pick the most suitable projects. We want to start to create highly accurate estimates. And how do we do that? So we need to start to work in an integrated manner to understand, what is the implications of that project. When are we going to be on site? What is the construction sequencing? But also understanding where we sit with other work at the moment, to make sure that we can get alignment, particularly if we've got a number of projects that are happening in a similar location. How do we start to think about ways in which we can get, our key members of employees to those jobs? In the field, we want to use collaborative technology that helps us communicate with our teams and general contractors, embracing behaviour that supports that unified approach of our office and site personnel. And, often enough we're too focused on, saying that, our general contractor is our client, but in many respects, people in the site are actually our clients. So we want to make sure we get them the most important information so they can do their job even better. We want to select the right people with the right capabilities for the job. We want to make sure that they have all of the capacity and capabilities to deliver that job, and also they've also got the right support to deliver on that outcome. Now I want to touch on dealing with increased competition. We want to. This is only going to be the challenges of us, particularly when we start to deal with tighter schedules and also a real willingness for those to deliver those jobs. So how are we going to deliver with that, and how are we going to stay focused on technology? What sort of competitive advantage, and how are we going to show GCs we're adding value to the process? Do we have the unique tools that allow us to achieve the quality outcomes? And also, I think our reputation is critically important. So how can we lead the charge to show the general contractors that we have the capability to deliver those jobs? We want to invest in people by teaching them new skills and foster a culture of learning and development. It's a measure of people, processes, and technology that really help to foster a culture of learning and development. So for us to do that, there's got to be new ways in which we can really encourage that behaviour. Most importantly, it's critical, and if we look at some of the leading subcontracting businesses, what they've been able to do for a prolonged time is to demonstrate that there's a career pathway through business, investing in efforts that ensure your employers and trade partners are closer to you as an employer. I think that's really critical, and demonstrating that there is ways in moving from the field all the way through to middle management is critical to really engage with them as a business. So I wanted to touch quickly on supply chain risk, and because we have seen a real increase in the US during times of economic uncertainty. COVID has caused supply chain disruption, and material shortages develop, prices have increased. And as we go through, these are some of the headline figures that we have seen. through our interaction, I should say, with our leaders, but also with looking at some of the data. We've seen an 8% increase year to date on costs for residential buildings, 90% increase price for softwood lumber, 2% year to date increase on non-residential building, 3% increase on ready-mix concrete, 1.2% flat glass, and also, I mentioned with lumber and also concrete brick blocks. We've seen a decrease in prefabricated sheet metal, and we hope that these sort of things can start helping with, some of the things that we want to deliver off-site. So we need to start to think differently about how we are going to deliver those projects with a supply chain that has been disrupted. So in terms of managing our supply chains in 2021, I think there's really three things that we need to really focus on, and I know many of you as leaders would have this front of mind, but really putting someone in charge of the effort to also really drive the new procurement arrangements. We want to create a clear and consistent way to communicate about the supply chain issues, having the conversation early with our major partners, to particularly the major suppliers, to really communicate the challenges that we have and getting in early. Conducting a supply chain audit for all the projects to develop your first focus. So really trying to make sure that we can deal with any supply chain issues in 2021 by getting ahead of the game. And so that leads us to what are two key things. We want to implement a material monitoring and management plan for all risk materials, and two, really document everything and leverage off that information internally. So in summary, there's three things that I want to, from our perspective, really support your business is: how do we reduce your project risk before breaking ground? How do we support the investment in technology and your people, and also implementing a plan for managing the supply chain? Those are three things that we want to support your business with, and we believe we've got that support to provide you to really deliver your projects. So there's just a poll question here, whether you're interested in building a more competitive business with Autodesk Building Connected. Please connect this poll if you're interested, and thank you for your participation today. I see there should be some questions which I'm happy to answer. So any questions? So we'll just leave the poll running at this stage. So in terms of In terms of some of the questions here, is there opportunity for promotional products? Yes, yes, there certainly is. Does Building Connected scale for smaller businesses? Yes, it is a product that supports both large and small. Have we done any thinking about site security companies benefit from your products? You know, that these are some of the things that have certainly been considered. So there seems to still be quite a few. We've got quite a few questions still coming through, which is fantastic. So, which specialty trades are being hit hardest? Well, I guess from this perspective, I think some of the trades that are just supplying labour and material have been hit hard. But I guess from our perspective, you know, that's why we want to really hone in and support the businesses that have those challenges. Look, there seems to be quite a few questions coming through. What we will do is we'll continue to answer questions over chat, and also follow up with you all directly. But I just wanted to, on behalf of Autodesk Construction Solutions, I just wanted to wish you all the best. Thanks for allowing me to present this afternoon, and we look forward to supporting you as we lead the rebound from COVID-19. So thank you very much for joining me today.